All right. Hello, everyone. Tony Talks podcast is back. My brother had a little COVID scare, so we took a week off, but ready to roll him off now. Today, my guest will be my lovely mom, Frenchie Decker. What's up, Mom?
Hi, Tony.
So if y'all know, all my friends that do know my mom, that's my dog. We be kicking it. They know we got crazy stories and stuff, but we won't really tell too many on here today. But we're going to talk about it. My mom, she birthed three beautiful ones. My sister, who's 5 years older than me, and then my younger brother, who's 5 years younger than me. So we're going to talk about it a little bit today. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's getting old, huh?
How did that happen?
5 years apart?
Yeah.
No plan at all. None of them planned, all on accident.
Yeah, probably. Not accident, just happened.
Yeah. Well, so my sister, Brittany, she lives in Japan now. She's deployed with my brother-in-law. My mom, it's Christmas time, obviously, so she misses her babies. I have two nephews and a niece, KJ, Issa, and Sterling. But she buys them stuff all the time. That's all she does. All I hear is, I bought them this, I bought them that, I'm going to see them. I talked to them today, so on and so forth. But how's it been with them gone?
This year's been harder than ever. I just miss them. I miss them a lot.
Yeah. We're going to try to get you over there?
They're never going to go without as long as I'm alive. But they don't need for nothing. They're doing good, and I'm happy. They're seeing things, doing things. It's just, I'm selfish. I want them here. I want to see them grow up. They're growing up fast. When Sterling left, he was barely walking.
That's crazy. And how old are they now?
Sterling's 3, Issa's 6, and KJ's 8.
Man, KJ looks huge, yo.
Mm-hmm.
But when you became a grandma, how was that? When Brittany first told you she was pregnant?
I was shocked. I was shocked because I was worried about her dealing with pain.
Mm-hmm.
But she did good. I was shocked. She did pretty good. And then my baby came and nothing mattered.
I remember when KJ came here, it was like, you love the boys, but when he came, it was like, we got put to the back burner.
Yeah. And, he was my first, so I spent so much money.
Yeah.
And I didn't care.
And then you got a niece?
Yeah. Same thing.
And she looked just like her mom?
Yeah.
So,
But she more like Alan, more real mellow, quiet.
Yeah.
And then here comes Sterling, my fat man. He's something else.
Yeah, one thing about my sister, she's pretty loud and outgoing, and then my brother-in-law is pretty chilled out and quiet. It's really a strange mixture. But my sister, me and her are pretty close in age for the most part, but she was always the big sister. So she would, give me crap and cause issues, call my dad on me, and she would tease us a little bit. But then when my little brother came, we kind of double-teamed him, and that was just how the household went. And she went to Oklahoma State, graduated from there. So that's how we became Oklahoma State fans, and then rock and roll. But, yeah, so you became a mom at how old? 19?
19.
How was that?
It was hard. It was hard because just of everything that I went through, being my child was black.
Yeah.
So her Aunt Gail helped me a lot on how to be a parent because I moved in with her and her, her grandpa.
Tulsa?
No. In my, God, where do they live?
I don't know the town name. Where they live now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, Brooksville.
Okay.
So, it was different. But for the most part, I thought I committed a crime getting pregnant at 19. But then when you have my sister at 15, I kind of felt better. But I was like a big disappointment. I guess, I don't know, my mom respected more or something. I don't know. Or maybe just because he was black. Who knows? But kind of learned on my own how to be a parent.
Mm-hmm. Those times were different,
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't know, well, obviously you don't, but my mom got pregnant with my sister, and then in our family, in our culture, basically, if you date outside your race at the time, it was like a no-no. So my grandma, kicked my mom out. She had to go figure it out on her own, so on and so forth. But then over time, obviously my grandma kind of loved her grandkids for whatever it was. So I can't imagine how that was. How long were you gone until you came back?
A few years.
Really?
I come visit and stuff, but it's just And grandma didn't know no better. When you come from a state of no blacks unless you're Cuban and 1% white and nothing but Mexicans, when you move here,
That's how it was in Laredo?
yeah, we didn't have no black people.
Wow.
It was maybe Cubans, but they weren't black. And so then when we get here and, you know, everybody in her ear about how black people's this, black people's that. And at the time, I saw you see it was on the news too. And it's like, so you don't know no better.
Mm-hmm.
And grandma didn't want to hear the mess from family, so she did what she thought was best.
Mm.
So I'll come visit, but I didn't, you know, it is what it is.
So when you came back, that's when Elizabeth or Anna Melda was pregnant?
Yeah.
Right around that time. Because her and my sister are 2 years apart, I think.
Yeah.
And then, so it was after my cousin Elizabeth, there's 3 years later, my mom and her two sisters all got pregnant the same year.
Yep.
Or, yeah, and my Aunt Imelda. And so that year, 93, my cousin was born in January, my other cousin was born in March, and I came in November.
Yep.
And then, how was that?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine. And it was weird because it's like I don't remember them being pregnant.
Really?
Because I wasn't as close to them like I was.
Oh, really?
It's like me and your dad we lived on, you know, like we had our own thing going. He worked, I worked, and we just spend time together and go see your grandma and them. But it's like I don't remember them being pregnant. That's weird because everybody was just living life.
Who all lived with grandma at the time?
Everybody.
Except you?
No, Uncle Ray, Melda, had Elizabeth,
Uh-huh.
and then Arlene and Johnny.
With Emilio?
And then Paula and Jessica, they all lived in the same under roof.
The house grandma just moved from?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people. And if y'all people would know, that house is small.
Yeah, but it's enough rooms.
Yeah, we made it work.
So.
One bathroom.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Then it wasn't cool, but.
Yeah. So then down the line, obviously more kids came. My little brother and my younger cousin Travis, my cousin Juan, they came, and then here came all the girls. And it was just Tanai, Talasia, and I think that might have been it out of all of us.
Yep. They're the youngest ones.
And so that wrapped that up. And then I was 10 when we moved to Moore. What made you move us out to Moore?
And you was in elementary, yeah, because y'all went.
Yeah, I was in 4th grade.
Well, I'm not bougie or uppity, but I've seen what stuff I've seen on the south side. I wanted better for my kids.
Yeah.
And I knew it wasn't going to be easy because, of course, living in Moore costs more, but it didn't matter to me because I've seen a lot of things on the south side.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen my brother and my sister, you know, when they were in the streets and people going to jail and all that, and I didn't want that for my kids.
Yeah. I never knew, like, you know, one day it was like we kind of just got up and moved, and then...
And, you know, I was like, we're moving down past 74th. And then, you know, more schools were really, you know, people talked about their education. And then, like, you going to Coolidge, and I just wasn't feeling it. And then people being kind of racist, too, I just wasn't feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it could have turned different if y'all would have stayed there because you thought you had to fight everybody to say the N-word
Yeah.
when you was little. So,
Right.
and, you know, it is what it is. But to me, it was better this way for me.
How hard was it for the first few years?
It was a struggle financially because it cost us a lot more.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. We were not going the other way.
It's crazy. You know, I tell the story all the time, like, moving to Moore saved me and Alex's life. You know, it's just, you know, the South Side really, from my experience of growing up, just really hasn't been very positive outcomes come out of it. So
yeah.
now I'm just like, I tell people all the time, like, I'm from Moore. No matter what nobody asks, you know, I was born and raised on the South Side, but I'm like, I'm from Moore. That's just what it is. You know, and I have a lot of respect for the town because they took our family in, and luckily around the corner was one of our close friends growing up. So they were able to drop us off there and ride the bus to school and all that. But then we moved around quite a bit. I can't even really remember how it went. Yeah, in Moore. Yeah, we never moved out of it. But I think we went, I don't know, I can't think about how I went, but it was quite a few homes. And then later down the line, we get our favorite house, obviously, on Bose Island. And I've actually never really talked to you about this since it happened. I don't think me and you've ever had the conversation. But 2013, our house got hit by the tornado, and me and my mom, my little brother were together that day, and it was quite the moment. You know, it was really scary, but you know, we was with each other, so I wasn't too scared for the most part. But you know, I don't think you've ever really told how it affected you. You know, how you felt after the whole thing.
I mean, it bothers me. You know, I get a lot of anxiety around that time.
Yeah, me too.
And sometimes, you know, I get to thinking, because, I mean, it seemed like a time we was finally, like, everything fell in place.
Right.
And then next, you know, we went through that phase, why us? You know, I went through the phase, like, why me, God?
For sure.
What have I done? And then the fact we left when we did, I think about it, I'm so thankful, because I asked Junior, was like, let's go. If not, we probably wouldn't have made it.
Right. I remember I told somebody the other day at the barbershop, actually, and shout out to E. He was like, he wanted to know the story, and I was like, man, I don't know why this day I went to the house. We get to the house, and I'm talking to you like, I want to stay with my house. And I'm like, Mom, we just can't do that. Like, we couldn't have fit in that shower. And when you was like, cool.
The only thing that stayed standing.
I was telling them, I was like, you know, I'm a believer, always have been, but that was one of them days I was like, you know, there's something else on this earth that's protecting us. Because how, of all things in that house, is that little bitty shower stand. Mm-hmm. And it was a shower in my mom's bedroom. It was a tiny little small shower. There's no way me, her, and my brother could have fit, but she was going to make it happen if it was to happen. And then I was just like, no, there's no way. So we left. And then when we left, we drove. We see the tornado off in the distance, and it was just like wow. So we pull over into the neighborhood Walmart by our house. We get out, and I remember me and my brother looking like, oh, my goodness. And my mom's rushing. We go through the Walmart, get in the deep freezer, and that experience was crazy. I don't even know how many people was in there, but it had to be a whole lot. Cause then,
yeah, they were shoveling kids in the shelves and passing out those coats because it was freezing.
Yeah. We get in, and then you hear the tornado come. It was just like a train for real. And it shook the building. That's when it shook like my heart a little bit. And the lights went out. And then when they opened the door, it was like, you know, the gates of heaven type thing.
I was scared because I didn't know if it was like picking us up or what.
Yeah.
And then the thing about, remember Alex had recorded when it started shaking, everybody in different languages was praying. Mm-hmm. That was the craziest thing.
Yeah, all languages.
Oh.
Yeah. Then we go out, and the world just looked different there for, you know what I mean, for a minute. And then
it was just dark. It smelled awful outside.
It was nasty. Like nasty for real.
And I thought nothing happened because they said it was going towards more high school. So when we got out and I looked, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it went the other direction.
And from where it looked, you know, direction it went, from when we walked out, it didn't look like it could have hit our house. So we just like, let's go look just in case. And we couldn't really like drive to it because all the poles was in the street or whatever. So my mom parks, me and my brother get out. We go look, at me and my brother in sandals, in socks and sandals, just wet. We get down there, and it's just like, you know, my brother says like I like lost it, which I believe I did. And
you did.
And it was like that, like she said, is the one house we have felt like we established our family. Like this is where we was gonna be. And then it was just like I lost everything. I get back to the car. I don't even remember what happened from the car to my dad's. I don't even know how that went. And then,
because I was walking down there too when y'all were coming, and you kept saying everything is gone, everything's gone.
Yeah.
And then the kitchen fell on your car, which was a new car that you got. So.
Right.
And then you was flipping out. So I called your dad. And then I was trying to call out, and of course nothing could go out. And then I called Uncle Ray. He's the first one that told. And he's like, man, I forgot, you know.
Yeah.
And you was flipping out. And Daddy was crying, so I called your dad, and I took you over there because you was tripping, hitting the dashboard and everything. You was flipping out because he was like, why? And you was, you know, I think we all went through that why.
Yeah. I remember walking to my dad's, and he like, what's wrong or whatever. And all I remember is just screaming at the laundry room and punching the doors. And he grabbed me, and he put me in his room. It was like, calm down. He couldn't get me to calm down. And he gave me a Valium and put me to sleep. So then woke up, and everything was better. I just was like, I don't know, bro. That stuff was crazy. I didn't even know how to handle it.
And it's weird because when it happened, we went back
Mm-hmm.
and we looked at stuff and okay. So then I went to stay with Arlene because Will and Alex went with Brittany to Norman.
Oh,
You
okay.
at your dad's.
Yeah.
And when I woke up and not having nothing is when it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like I disbelieved, like I couldn't believe it.
I
Could
just.
not believe it that, especially like everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, more came through for us.
Yeah, no doubt. Then after all that settles, we got what we could for the most part or whatever. Said our goodbyes, and then Habitat for Humanity came in and built our family a new house. Obviously we had to put in sweat hours and so on and so forth, but that got done, and that's the house my mom still lives in today. The one we're recording in right now. It's our house is what we call it. You know what I mean? It's our blessing house, to be honest with you.
And it was a blessing all around because, it was a process we had to go through to get the house,
Mm-hmm.
get approved. They were picking 10 families. I turned out to be the last family they picked. We were the 9th on the list.
I didn't know that.
And we turned out to be the 3rd people getting a house.
Really?
Yes.
Dang.
That was just like a blessing. That was crazy.
And one thing about my mom, man, she gonna make it happen. Like, I never even knew what Habitat for Humanity was, at that time. And then she like, look, this is what it is. This is what we're gonna do. And I've always been that way with my mom. Like, all right, what we doing? And then we go do it, and we get this beautiful home. And then it's crazy. 'Cause I remember the day we got the keys and stuff. I'm just like, wow. You know what I mean?
I still couldn't believe it. And then, we had that lady that assigned to me, Miss Kathy Garcia. She's from Texas. I still keep up with her on Facebook. It was weird how I ended up with her because she made a lot of things possible. Like, it was just the craziest thing. She always made anything possible, make sure we got furniture. Like anything I needed, she was on top of it. But she said that was what she was here for. So, but it was just weird because when we had to take the class for Habitat, about finances and stuff, we all started talking about where to get help and stuff. And I knew the most information. They're like, how you know? And I was like, because they assigned me a case manager.
Yeah.
And they were like, in disbelief that I had so much resources. I said, well, I'm going to go look. I'm going to ask because we didn't have nothing. We didn't have no insurance, nothing. And I was scared. So, shoot, I started asking.
Mm-hmm.
And, that lady helped us so much. And, Habitat helped us so much. United Way helped us. More came through for Oklahoma. That's why I keep my money in Moore.
Thanks.
I'd do anything pertaining to Moore.
Yeah. That's our town, man.
It was like, why'd you move back in Moore? Regardless, I feel safe. I feel comfortable. I'm at ease and peace and more.
Yeah, that's one thing about our town. Like, the scariest thing about it is the tornadoes, but when push come to shove, our city be down for each other. We're going to make it happen. We're going to help each other get back right, rebuild, give clothes, food, whatever we got to do because we done been through tragedy so many times. But that's why.
I can honestly say, too, the OCOM where I worked, they really came through at the time, and I really appreciate that. And then, the bank.
Yeah, I remember that.
At the bank.
Yeah.
And then I was working at the bank through Adeco, the temp service, and they came through, too. So it was weird because I was always used to being the giver, and I didn't want to ask for help.
Right.
And it took a lot for me to do that. And then finally I did it, and it just... stuff starts coming from every direction.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's one of them times I'll never forget, man. It's just, in history, honestly, it's just going to be crazy because it's one of the biggest tornadoes ever. But we back from it. All of us healthy going, and everybody got their stuff now. So
I can relate to, like, what happened in Arkansas, and I'm just like, God, Lord, it's sad.
Yeah, that was sad.
Especially before the holidays,
Christmas.
but just the fact, the end of the year, and for that to happen, I can relate,
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, I understand. If you ain't been through it, you don't understand. Because I used to say that.
Right.
And then when we went through it, it was like, I understand now.
Yeah.
Not then. I understood what I see and hear, but to be in it, it's a whole different ball game.
Man, but, thank God we made it out of it. And how many years has it been now? Going on 10? Oh, so 9 years. Going on 9. So You been in this house how long?
5.
5 years. So that's where we came from there. My mom got a new job 2 years ago, correct?
Yeah, let me tell you this. When we were in that freezer, everybody was praying, and the only thing I asked God was like to save, if anything, to save y'all. Because I'm like, God, I already lived my life, let my kids live, And everybody's like, why would you do that? Because if it's going to be my kids or me, I want to go and let my kids live life. I'm not selfish like that. And people think like, well, I wouldn't even say that. I say, yeah, but I mean, for all of us that was in there, you just would have never known.
Yeah.
Like who would have, what it could happen.
Right. Just think if it would have grabbed the building. You know what I mean?
I know, because I didn't know when it was shaking, if it was picking us up or what it was doing.
Yeah.
I was holding on tight to y'all, and I kept crying. You're like, Mom, don't cry. And I'm like, God, Lord, just.
I remember like when I was holding us, and I'm in that same boat. Like if anything happened, just let my mom, my brother go. Like I'm cool. I'm protective. That's what I'm here to do. But I was just I hadn't prayed a lot between then, being young. And I'm praying like, God, just make sure we come out safe. I don't care about nothing else. As long as we healthy and good, I'm cool. And, obviously our prayers was working, because it could have just went couple, like quarter mile down the road and hit the building, and it would have been over with. Yeah, so, we never talked about that. I don't think me and you really ever conversated about it. Kind of avoided it.
It's just, but yeah, I always say that I'm not selfish, never been, and I'm always, look, let my babies live, shoot. I've lived, I'm older, it's like let them see life and enjoy life, but we're here and we're here now.
And ever since then we have, Alex, them been traveling a lot. Me, we travel quite a bit, coaching and stuff, and then, you getting on your feet where you are now, probably the best space in a long time. You know what I mean?
I really like my job.
Yeah.
I like the people I work with. Sometimes people make it difficult, but when it comes to like management, I mean, they're good.
Yeah.
They come through. They always try to make it possible for us to take off. Or, we're having this Christmas thing Wednesday. Well, we just call it a lunch, because some of the people is religious, don't believe it, so we just call it a luncheon. But they're buying like the meat and stuff. The job's giving us bonuses. I mean, it's a good company.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. I like it.
Yeah, when that time came, my mom, we're pretty close, so she's like, she calls me back. She's like, should I do it? And I'm a real positive thinker, like in the future, looking at the good of it. And my wife was going through the same thing right around that time. And I'm like, look, you gave your all to that place. You worked your butt off overtime, holidays. Do you feel like you're appreciated enough? And then, both of them at the time was like, no. And I'm like, just take the jump. And she did. She listened to me after time. And I remember it was a few months later, she was like, thank you so much for pushing me and believing in me. And, people, I know our parents are our parents, but sometimes a positive word from their kids go a long way. Just a positive encouragement, because I don't know if she would have did it if I didn't tell her to go for it. She kind of was comfortable at that place. She took care of her for the most part. She had been there a while, but things were changing to the point from, as her son, I'm like, I don't really like what's going on, for you. And then she went, and now we can't even complain at all. You know what I mean?
And what really rubbed me wrong with that situation is when you was in the hospital, that they didn't even try to see about you, or it was when you coming back. And they're just like, I couldn't shake that off. And then, Mike, he left. I was just like, no, because when he came in, it's like it grew, like the company pulled together. Because he likes to do stuff for his employees, so it was fun. But then things changed, and I was just like, something got to give.
Right.
And it just came like out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yep. And Denise, we go back many years. She talks to Tony. She's like, hey, send me your resume. Next, what you need. I said, give me more money, or even a dollar more than what I'm making. Call me back. You got it.
Made it happen. Denise been our dog for a long time. Shout out to her.
And that's the day I went for my interview, and we were at your doctor's appointment, remember? Yep, and they was like, they all was like, you got this. I was like, okay.
I remember he was like, I got it. I'm like, let's do it then. You know what I'm saying? Let's go for it.
Yeah, and you know, it's different, but I mean, I caught on right back to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing good. Help as much as I can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Yeah, my mom works at a hospital here in Oklahoma, and she works in a COVID clinic right now, which that's kind of weird for the most part for me, but she sees some stuff that a lot of us don't see. And, got to keep her in my prayers because obviously she's around a lot of people that could or could not have it for the most part, but she's going to chug it out for them. She's going to show up when they need her and do her job, but yeah, so
Somebody has to do it, you know, because I work in a clinic, and the days I don't have clinic, I go to the COVID site. And I mean, I don't really interact with people, but it's in the area.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
People think it's this and politics and all this. I mean, it's real, but we have to do it. Somebody has to do it. I mean, you know, and I'm one of them, and I don't have a problem with it. I've been down since July.
Nonstop.
6 days a week.
Crazy. Well, a little bit of that, little soft part of it. So we're going to touch on the children part. I'm going to ask her some tough questions.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so out of us three, who is your toughest child to deal with?
Alex.
Why is that?
He's a whole different type of breed from you and Brittany. He's just, I don't know.
That's your baby.
And not just because he's a mama's boy. It's just, he's just different.
Yeah.
Like, if he don't want to be bothered, he ain't going to be bothered.
Like my grandma.
Yeah, like I was telling him, I said, you act like just like your grandma Sheila.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like when he was young, he'd invite people over, and then he'd be like, can you take them home? I said, I thought we were staying night. No, I'm tired of them already. Like, who does that?
Young.
Yes.
I remember we was at the apartment when Will lived with y'all, and his friends was over. I came over to just hang out with Will, and he was like, yeah, Mom about to take them home. Like, why? He's like, bro, I'm just getting tired of them.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm like,
crazy.
I'm like, what, bro? And, my brother, he's definitely different than me and my sister. You know, we're all different in our own ways. But my little brother, man, my mom, her nickname from him just blows my mind. But I think that's why he is the way he is. And, so.
Because I call him Daddy.
Yeah, which people, I don't know what that's about.
The reason I call him Daddy was because since he been little, he's always tried to take care of me. Like, every night to this night, he'll make sure he shuts my closet, turns my light off, and all that. He used to cover me up. And then if it was late and I was going somewhere, he's going to jump in the back seat and ride with me.
Really?
He's always, to this day, he does that. He'll come, shut the door, turn my lamp off, cover me up, whatever. That's why I call him Daddy. Like, he's a little man, took care of. He always has. But now he all like, I can't even tell him to scratch my back. He think he come into crime by scratching my back. He's just a different type of breed.
Do you think my dad was hard on me and my brother? Too hard on us?
Nope.
You feel like it was cool?
I feel like I think he did good because I feel like if your dad wouldn't have been that way, it could have went a different direction too.
Yeah.
Because your dad didn't have like the best pass either.
Right.
But I was shocked, to be honest, because when I met your dad, his dad went around. So for him to turn out to be a really good dad, I was shocked. Because, I mean, his mom and dad might have been together, but when I got with your dad, he wasn't around. So he just brought y'all up to the best he could.
Mm-hmm. You know, my dad is, my brother did a podcast with him last year, and we talked about it. We kind of asked him, but he's like, I had to raise y'all. You know, I can't let y'all run around here do wrong and so on and so forth. Like, I'm going to teach you how to do right and hold you accountable for those things. So, you know, there was times like, you know, my mom get mad at me and my brother. I'm going to call you dad. You call my dad. For us, it's like, oh, it's go time. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it's real life scary. Cause,
y'all didn't want me to call.
Nah, because my mom, my dad, my mom was the parent that was cool. Like, she'd get on us, she'd discipline us, but it was like, if it got to my dad, it was to the point where she like, whatever I'm doing ain't working for y'all right now, so we're going to get it to him. So, like, we could talk to my mom and kind of debate with her, like, no, don't call my dad. Well, sorry for this. We'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But once she made that decision, she was going to call him, bro. It was just like, goodness gracious, man. I remember the day I'm at the house. I don't know what Alex did, but you called him to come over to the house, and my dad never came in our house, and he came in that day, and I was just like,
forget that.
I was like,
I said, your dad's coming. No, he's not. My dad don't come in the house. He come through there, turn that corner.
yeah.
He picked him up. He said, what? Ooh. I've never seen your dad like that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, he didn't play,
He
bro.
was more mad because, I had a,
right.
home from the hospital, and he over here acting up.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing, too. Like, me and your dad respect each other's. Like, if y'all was grounded, y'all was grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell people, like friends of mine, like, you have to make it about your kids. You can't be, me and him was done with.
Mm-hmm.
But your dad was like, if I tell him he can't go, don't let him get over there and you let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was like, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. It's my kids. But then after y'all start getting older, I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to stop doing that. And he did the same with me. He's like, if they ain't any kind of trouble, you tell me. And when they come over here, that's what's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
But your dad did good.
Yeah.
I always tell him, or on Father's Day I call him and I tell him, I was like, I really appreciate you doing. He's like, that's my babies.
No doubt. For what were some of your biggest battles for each kid? So, like with Brittany, what was one of your biggest battles with her?
We really didn't have a battle. My biggest fear with Brittany was that we wouldn't be close because of her living pretty much with her dad.
Mm-hmm.
But she always respected me and stuff. But at the same time, there was times that I felt like I was her friend or something, and I was like, no, it don't work that way.
Right.
But then, with KJ and all that, it's like that just grew us together, and that's why it's hard for me right now, because we used to talk in the morning after work, run around everywhere, and that's why it's hard. But I used to worry about that. But her aunt told her, like, what was really going on, how her dad was doing me. So that was my biggest fear, that, we wouldn't be close, and I'd just be here and she'd be there.
Right.
But she came and she stayed with us and everything because, she took a break from school and her dad was mad. And I was like, she's been going since she got out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with a break.
Right.
And so, from there, she stayed with me, and then, she met Alan and all that, so.
Yeah. You remember when she told us she was married?
Really?
You remember that?
Yes.
That was Olive Garden, yeah.
I don't know where. Oh, yeah, we got married. What?
Yeah, so what happened was we all talking, and I don't know why. It might have been paying or something, and my sister's ID comes out.
No, that's not what happened.
What happened?
Well, this was at the time of the tornado. Remember, and we all stay in separate places, so we got together to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And we was talking about insurance.
Oh, that's right.
And she said, I don't need none. And I was like, why you don't? She's like, I'm under Alan's. And I said, what? And she just said, oh, we got married. I
remember.
That.
Then she showed you.
I was like, what the hell? She said they just got up and said, let's get married.
I remember I'm sitting there like, what?
Just think when she came to my job. She's like, Mom. She said, guess what? I said, what, you pregnant? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. She said, well, I'll talk to you later. I was like, at first I was sitting there like, did she just say that?
I didn't know that.
Like, nonchalant. Like, you're supposed to take me out to eat or something, I thought.
Yeah.
And she laughed and he was like, nonchalant, like.
So is that what she was coming to tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, you just, oh.
I was just playing. And she was pregnant.
That's crazy.
I said, Lord.
So did she tell you like a surprise with Issa or Sterling?
Mm-hmm.
She just kind of like, hey, I'm pregnant?
Yep.
That's weird.
And I've been to ultrasounds and stuff with her too. So, she let me be in all that.
That's crazy, man. Because my sister lived with her dad majority of her life.
In Tulsa.
When you moved back. So we'd see my sister in like holidays, summer, things of that nature. And then she went to college, and then we started seeing her a little bit more. And then obviously she moved in with us 1 year or whatever. And then that's when everything kind of just went up and up for you and her. Because I even remember, like back then when she moved in, I don't ever remember y'all ever having any arguments or disagreements. It was just like, it was cool.
That's
like
why I was surprised because, when we used to go to Stillwater, I would do her laundry and stuff like that. And it was never like
Yeah.
like mom and daughter. It was just always like we just friends or something.
Right.
That's how I was feeling. And then when she moved in with me, it was just like a whole different person, and I was just thankful for that.
That's crazy.
Yes, it's crazy.
And then me? What was your biggest fear for me?
I never have worried about you.
I like it.
If anything, maybe sometimes your size, because you're big and small and stuff, but just health reasons, but you're healthy. And that's crazy because my smallest one has got issues. But no, I never had to worry about you. I don't know why. I just never have.
Yeah. That's why me and Alex talk about it sometimes. I'm like, he's like, I don't think it's that, and like, just like, she doesn't, but there's really nothing to worry about me about. You know what I mean? I tell him, I'm like, I probably worry about her more than she worry about me. Just because, you're by yourself and so on and so forth. So like, especially with Brittany being gone, you know what I mean? I'm like, I got to pick up the slack or whatever. But then even when I lived with you, I'm younger, I'm like, I'm the oldest man in the house. You know what I mean? I got to do whatever I can to make sure you feel good for the most part.
Yeah, but I never have. I don't know, I guess because your dad used to always say that you don't have to worry about about you because you're mine and all that. And you and your dad was real close.
Mm-hmm.
I knew your dad wasn't going to just say anything, but he always told me, he said, you ain't not going to have to worry about him at all. And you're kind of like your dad, so
Right.
you you have got yourself in some messes behind other people, but not like you intentionally going to do something.
Oh yeah.
And I never have. Even growing up, I never had to worry about you.
That's crazy.
Because I don't know, I guess because I felt like your dad was protecting you because you was always with your dad.
Yeah, that's what he says.
So he, I knew nothing was going to happen. And your dad, he told me, he's like, you ain't going to have to worry about him, and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I never have.
And now your baby? Now Alex?
Oh, Lord, that one. Well, I worried about him because of the faces he went through, and I still worry about it sometimes because, like, if he's in that room too long, I'll panic.
Right. I know you'll text
don't
me.
answer me or something. But it's just because of everything that we went through. He has a different way of dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
He held everything in and then flipped out.
Right.
And, and there was a couple times that he was calling himself going to do something to himself
Right.
and tried to and all that. And then the hardest thing was when he was 18 and, they arrested him.
Right.
And that hurt me so much because I couldn't do nothing about it. They were like, ma'am, he's 18. And so they arrested him in the front room, and that just killed me. Then I went to go see him, and he's like, why are you crying, Mom? Why are you like nothing? And I was like, cuz I don't want you. And he's like, Mom, I'm all right. And I was just like, this is not what I wanted for him. So that's my only biggest fear of him losing my son, due to just mental health.
Right.
Because, I used to try to get him a counselor, and he's like, why am I going to talk to a stranger? Well, you ain't going to talk to someone you know. So
Right.
what's the difference?
Yeah.
Until he found someone he was comfortable with, and, But he's came a long ways, and I think having a podcast and people to talk to more and, keeping tight with your dad and stuff, so I think that did him some good.
So when he didn't talk to my dad for that couple of years or whatever, how did you handle all that?
I wasn't happy with it, but what can I do? He was just on one.
Yeah. My brother didn't talk to me and my father for it was a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And it was over something, my dad had some real concrete rules, and whatever happened, happened. And then it was just like, my brother and my dad are alike in certain ways, and in this way, they're exactly the same. So one felt disrespected and the other one felt, a certain way, and they were just cool with not talking. Not cool, but that's just what it was. And I didn't know what to do.
If he talked to your dad, it was just blunt and dry,
Yeah.
They weren't going to hold no conversation, weren't trying to go over there. And I didn't like that, but, I think things happen for a reason, and in due time now it's like,
Mm-hmm. Relationship better than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him too, because my brother, I coached in high school. My brother went to the high school, and when I met my wife, so this was 7 years ago, she comes to the gym, and I hadn't told her about Alex. I never. So Alex come walking in, you know, in that time he had it all, the necklaces, the wristbands, the whole 9 yard, right? Looking clean,
Jordan.
you know, jewelry, all that. And Mariah asked me, she's like, who's that kid? And I'm like, who? She's like, you know, the kid that looks like he's like, you know, trying hard. I'm like, that's my little brother. And she was like, huh? I was like, yeah, that's my little brother. And she was like, do y'all not talk? And I was like, not right now. You know, I was like, it's just something going on with us. And she got siblings too, but she ain't never went through nothing like that. And I'm like, we could. I mean, ain't no animosity. We just don't talk right now. She was just like, okay. So she didn't even, I don't think she met Alex for like a year or two, like actually talked to him.
Well, you know, he's a different type of breed for some reason. And it's weird because, like, even if I fall out with my brothers and sisters, we don't go long without not talking. That's just something that Grandma never allowed us to do because, you know, when we got here, you know, it was just us.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and I talk to Arlene every day. And, you know, I talk to Ray at least once, twice a week. Paula whenever.
Yeah.
And then Jessica's doing her thing. But that's just, I don't know. I'm really big on family because, you know, Grandma brought us up close.
Right.
And, you know, I think my mom's family is like the only one that has the closest kids, you know, for the holidays and everything. You know, we do everything together.
Right.
But, you know.
All right. Well, the big one that I'm going to finish with is how was it watching me get married?
How was it?
Yeah.
First, I couldn't believe it. Second, you know, I just fear that things could go a whole different type of direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I'm still, you know, real protective.
Right.
Like, for instance, you know, being the fact that Mariah's white and you're mixed and what if, and I'm like, no, I don't want to think like that because if my baby go to jail, I'm going to jail. Because, you know, just the world we in.
Mm-hmm.
But I was really proud of you, though, and you know, you made it happen. You gave her what she wanted, and so I was happy at the same time that you was able to do that.
Yeah, because I went through 2 brain surgeries before my wedding. So I went through one the year before, so I was out for a while, really out for the count. And then I came back, come to find out it came back, so I had another major surgery. So then that was in June. I got married in August. So I planned it, obviously, and so on and so forth. So I was like, we got to make it happen. You know, my mom, she did everything she possibly could to make sure I was going to give my wife the best day, you know, possible. And then my wife did a good job accommodating, you know, my culture, her culture, the whole 9 yards, and then our families, because we got married in the prime of COVID. So we had to take a chance on that and so on and so forth. But, you know, I was looking just the other day, I was going through some pictures and I seen the one of us walking together, and I'm just like, man, you know, I was walking crying, so on and so forth, but I'm like, and people really knew, you know, what we had been through as a family with, you know, especially me, you, and Alex, you know, throughout the time. It's just, plus the brain stuff, because it was like, I knew there's going to be 3 people there, 4 people there for sure, which was you and my dad was going to be there no matter what, you know, and then Mariah being there kind of stamped like this is going to be my wife because she was my, you know, she wrote it out with me, you know, and I think that helped give you some comfort, my dad, on like the whole marriage situation. And then, so when we walk in, that's all I could think about, like, this is how it's supposed to be. I've always wanted to be married. My mama's here, my grandma's here. And it was just like the most precious time. You know what I mean? Those steps meant the world to me. Because I'm like, my dog's here and we're healthy, good. And I made it through these surgeries. God blessed me to do this, so let's do it. And then it happened. So I was like,
my biggest fear was that, I talked to Mariah at the hospital. I was like, I don't want you to make a decision without talking to me and Thompson.
mm-hmm.
And she's like, I would never do that. Because I was like, I'm used to making those decisions for my son.
Yeah.
And I was not cool with that. I was not cool with that at all. And then when they couldn't control you and they was talking about impotent, you know, sedating you and all that, and I was like, no, I started crying out to your dad, you better tell her she better not, or I'm going to jail. And he's like, I was so mad, I started crying. Your dad's like, calm down, I'm gonna go in there. And luckily, he was able to calm you down. But I was like, no, I didn't want to see you with no machine and you sedated and stuff because you was in so much pain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but she was like, no, I would never do that. I'll make sure. And I was like, and I told her, I said, if y'all ever get married, you better not leave us out of that. She's like, I would not do y'all like that.
Right.
And I'm like, and and I know, you're married, and I know that's her choice, but I got cut for you.
Yeah.
3 C-sections.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure y'all know. But I mean, Mariah's good. I mean, y'all good.
Yeah.
And I was proud of y'all. Y'all y'all accomplished a lot together.
That was like when I had to sign the power of attorney. That was it was hard. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at you and her, and I'm like, my mom usually makes these decisions.
I was in my feelings too.
Yeah, I assumed you were, but I'm like,
my feelings. But I was like, and then Tom's like, well, because you're gonna be all upset, you wouldn't think straight, and all this and that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I knew she would be the happy mediator and be able, because she know how I am. So she was like, that's why, like, I heard y'all ask her, like, why she wasn't crying and stuff. Because she knew, when it came to me, like, I would need her to be strong right then and there. And so she said, that's why when we got home, she was crying and got sick and all that stuff, because she held in all that stress for, those 5-6 days. And I was like, I'm sorry, but she's like, I needed to be there for you, so it is what it is.
She did good.
Yeah.
And I would sit there while she go home and stuff. So, but she would stay there at night, and then she would call us. Like the time he was up, it's like 4:00 in the morning. She'd call me and your dad, and we got there as soon as we could. And then your dad, showed up and all that.
Yeah, it's the one man on earth that calmed me down, yo. That was my first time against anesthesia, and I came back on go mode, I guess. They said they couldn't control me, calm me down, and then he come in and I guess calm me down.
You was having a lot of pain, and nothing they gave you was helping you. So.
Yeah,
but it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a question for you though.
What's up?
Are you done with my questions?
Yeah.
So, what is your biggest fear with your mom? Like, what are you worried about with your mom?
I would probably say I fear for your happiness to be messed with. Like, I don't, obviously growing up, there were some things that happened that made me have a lot of protection towards you when it comes to how you get treated. My biggest fear is to watch you get treated bad again, and in my opinion, get taken advantage of, because you're such a giving and honest, hardworking, loyal, down-to-earth, ride-or-die person that, from my point of view, the last few times you've just been taken advantage of. And now that I'm an adult, I don't ever want that to happen, because I know I have more control in my opinions on it. But I think from the other one, which would have been before, was financial, but we're in a much better space than we were back then. But I fear for you, because you try your hardest to take care of your health and those things, so on and so forth. But I know you like me, you want love, you know what I mean? And so we know what your situation is now. If everything comes out the way you want it to, we're hoping for the best on that, but that's my biggest fear.
And I know that I have made some bad decisions, as growing up with my children, because sometimes we get caught up in what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've had some people that shouldn't have been around my children, but that was like after the fact, after you go through stuff.
Yeah.
And now as I get older, I'm more to the point where, like, I've been done wrong, but at the end of the day, it's like I tell people that people can do me any kind of way, but at the end of the day, I'm blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And not just that, karma will get you.
No doubt.
And I think that's why I don't try to do wrong by people. And if I have it, you got it, because I'm going to get blessed regardless.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a lot of ways that I've got blessed, where you be like, dang, like, you don't be expecting something and it happens. And if I got it, I'm going to give. And the fact, not just that, that's how my mom was. Because when we got here, we didn't have much, and she made it possible.
No doubt.
So I'm like, if she can, how can I not?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't worry about y'all now that you're adults. Because I think for the most part, y'all got it under control. I miss Brittany. Yes, she's out of town. You're around the corner, but I know you're busy and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is always going to be home.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all welcome to come over anytime y'all want.
Yeah.
Alex, on the other hand, worries me as in being on his own because of the way he is, but I feel like eventually he's going to have to.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be all right. But it's just, I don't know about him. I wonder sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He seems happy. He likes what he do. And that's all that matters because, I didn't know what he wanted to do with himself.
Yeah, none of us did really.
And he likes doing this and he enjoys it. And I see him all over the place. So I get happy for that. I'm proud of all my children. I'm thankful that my past and choices didn't mess y'all up.
Yeah.
Because one of my biggest fears was what type of man Brittany would end up with. She got a great husband.
Man, shout out to Alan, man.
I don't worry about him.
It's my dog.
I don't worry about her or my babies because I know Alan's got them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know, Mariah's got you. Y'all good.
Yeah.
Y'all don't need for nothing. Y'all both working and making it.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex is good for the most part.
No doubt.
He's here. He stays out of my pocket. We all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at ease. I just want my husband here with me.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know him like that, but I do, and I'm not an easy person to get along with either.
Yeah, we know.
And it's just because of my past, and I work on it all the time because there's times that he doesn't do nothing, and I go all the way left because I fear that I'm gonna get us done some type of way.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if whatever happens with me and him, I'm like the only thing that's going to happen to me, I'm going to have a broken heart, but I'm not going to lose nothing.
Yeah.
Because, I'm still going to, no matter with him, without, I'm still going to have a good, nice house, a good job, and a way to get around.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been my priority. So I think it's going to be all right.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Your kids love you to death. We appreciate everything you've done, sacrifice, we've been through. Me and Alex seen a lot, but
we've been through a lot.
You're a soldier. You know what I mean? You got it from Grandma Olga, no doubt. You see what I'm saying? But I'm appreciative for it. The man I am today is both my parents had a big part of it. And I get my loyalty and my strength from you. You know what I mean? And that's just how it is. I tell people all the time, Mom might be small, but boy, she'll fight. That's who she is. You know what I mean? We ain't never really went without. And if we did,
very blunt and up front.
Yeah, and we
sugarcoat nothing.
And we had fun, man. Growing up, she let me do my thing, have a good time, and I'm very thankful for it. She raised me different, but to me, it was the right way. So yeah, that's the end of that, Mom. I appreciate you coming on. Glad we got to talk about some things we haven't got to talk about.
And let me say this too: a lot of times, parents want to be friends with their kids, but there's a limit to that, because sometimes you gotta give your kids a little, let the rope go a little bit and let them, because that's the only way they're gonna learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I know sometimes I'll let y'all have get-togethers and y'all did what you did, but at the end of the day, y'all will pick up, y'all will respect the house, and then the next day was the next day. So that's one thing. Y'all never got out of line or had me worrying about y'all, or I can't sleep at night or not know if y'all gonna make it home.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that to go through that, and I'm thankful for that because I couldn't do it. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because I see, like my sister going through it, and I'm like, no, there's no way I could have done that.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that my kids, thank God that he guided y'all in the right direction, and your dad.
Yeah, we got you, man. We were thankful for what you did, so we weren't going to take advantage of it. We're just going to have a good time and make sure you cleaned up, because we know if not, we was going to hear it.
Exactly. Yeah, look who's talking.
Yeah.
To your house.
Oh, gosh. I lived with my dad for a while, so I blame him.
That's what Alex
Yeah, so.
Whatever. Now we're waiting on grandbabies.
Yeah. We going to get it rocking for us. We're going to give her a couple. So, well, everyone, we're going to wrap that up. Tony Talks Podcast. Shout out to my mom, Frenchie Decker, if you ever want to go follow on Facebook or something. Tony Talks Pod on Instagram. Tony Talks Pod on Twitter. Tony T on TikTok. And then that's about it. So that episode's over with. It's family month, so I'll have my dad on or my brother next episode, and we'll holler at you later.
Bye.